Okay then, it is out with the old and in with the new MR-04. Let's dive right in and get this thing ready to race. So with the MR-03, there's a few things that I always did on a new chassis. First off is look at the motor wiring. We need that to be reliable. It's no good if those wires keep on breaking halfway through a race. You've got to finish to win. We're going to need power for our transponder, so we'll look at that. We need to get the motor run in, get those brushes seated nicely, switch pinions, take a look at the diff, check the front end's all running nice and smooth, pop on some T-plates and maybe a set of springs in the front, and then we should be nearly good to go. Where are we going to start? I think probably motor wiring. Okay, so for the motor wiring, I'm going to just pull back the shock. You can see at the moment the wires are soldered directly to these tabs. Okay, the wires themselves actually feel relatively soft, so I'm not going to worry about changing those. That you can see just falls straight off anyway. So it's always nice to just get a look at how the wires are on the motor and the direction that they are heading, and again they don't look too bad, but we can definitely do something on this end. So on the MR-03, they always, whenever they come out the back, there's too much movement and they end up snapping off, and when they snap off you better hope that they don't short out, because if they do then you're going to fry your board. So it is crucial that this point here is reliable. Okay, and to do that, the best solution that we kind of came up with is to do this little loop around. Okay, so soldering on in sort of reverse, and then tucking them around and then coming out. Now I think it's going to be similar on this, hopefully we'll soon see, but that basically takes all the stress off the solder joint and puts it all into the flex of the cable. So I have not had a single wire come off with this setup, and I've been running this car for probably a good year now solidly. So proven, well worth doing. To MR-03, MR-04, whatever you're running, make sure that this setup is secure and reliable. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to remove these motor wires. They do not need to be this long. That's only going to make things worse. We can shorten these right up, and like I say, I will aim to do the same setup that I had before. Okay, so first things first, we are going to remove the old wire, gauge roughly where we want our wire to end up. We don't want it too tight, but we don't want bags of spare either. So probably something like that. The thing to remember is you can always shorten it. It's harder to stick bits back on. So let's go about there to start with. Okay, you can see roughly the length that I've removed. We will just shorten up. Yeah, so. Maybe do with a tiny bit more. And then we will just tin the ends. Tin in just puts a small amount of fresh solder and onto the end of your wire. The tab's already got solder on it, but we'll just put some fresh on there as well. Don't want too much on that, just enough. Okay, so the solder that I'm using has got flux. It's got a flux core in it, so right down the center of this, although it's absolutely tiny, there is flux running down there. That just helps the solder flow and bond. And then we're basically going to be soldering this on something like that. So I'm just going to play around with how it's held, and we'll. Okay, so I'm happy where it's sitting, being held. I'm going to aim to solder this to this corner here, okay, so that it's coming into the car. We just need to be a bit aware that the screw is going to be sitting in there too, so we're going to keep it as far to the outside as possible. Both sides are tinned, so it is just a matter of getting things hot. I might need to put a bit more solder on the end of my iron. Yep, I'm just going to put a dab of solder onto the end of my iron. This just helps the heat transfer from the iron to the part. There you go. And what we're looking for is for it just nice, shiny joint like that. Perfect. Great, so that's one side done. We'll give that a test fit and then move on to the other. Okay, there we have it. So we have the first wire installed. That went in lovely. Screw was no issues. As you can see on this time, I've got it curving starting from the center and curving around on the outside. I just feel like on this car it's going to work and flow a little nicer like that. Both motor wires now soldered back to the tabs. You can see I've desoldered the red from the motor terminal. I wasn't happy on the routing of that. It's very important to get these wires nice and balanced so that they don't tweak the motor over. You may not think that it makes much difference, but even these small little wires can give you a bit of tweak on the rear end, which makes the car a little less consistent. So yeah, just trying to figure out the best way to route these. I think I'm actually going to shorten this black just a hair more, and then I'm going to bring the red around like so back to the terminal. Motor wiring is now complete. I am now happy that those wires will not come undone, and the fatigue now is taken away from the solder joint, or potential fatigue, and we still have enough flex in the wires, and we shouldn't get any issues with tweak. So that's done. We will now run the motor in. So the process of running this motor in, all we're going to be doing is getting our little saucer here, filling it up with lukewarm water. Okay, we're going to be popping a drip of dish soap in there just to help break down any grime and dirt that may still be in the motor from manufacture. We're going to be connecting up our battery here. As I mentioned, it's two AAA cells. You could use double A's if you wanted. We're going to be connecting the terminals up in reverse. Okay. Now I won't go into all the boring details of this, but it is led to believe that this helps improve the timing of the motor, so we'll be doing that. We'll be placing it in the jar for probably 5 minutes to start with, or just until the water starts to go a bit murky and we can see the muck coming out. Once we've done that, we will repeat that process a couple of times until the water's running nice and clear, and then make sure that the motor is fully dried out before reinstalling it in the car. Motor now in, terminals connected up in reverse. It's time to switch it on and get this thing running. Okay, so I've had the motor running a couple of times now, replacing the water every sort of 5 minutes. Yeah, been through that a couple of times. I'm going to do this one last time, this time with fresh water, just to get all the soap and any other residues out of the motor, and then we will dry it off. So now all we need to do is make sure this motor is nice and dry. I can run it up for a couple of seconds. That will help spin off a lot of the water, and then a bit of IPA and a blow with an air blower will get most of the moisture out. Some people say oil the bushings in there. Personally, I don't. Most lubricants tend to attract dirt and grit and grease and grime, so I personally avoid that and just leave it nice and clean. Okay, so while the motor is out of the car, we are going to change the pinion. Okay, so we've replaced the pinion with this, the Pro Match 8-tooth. 8-tooth is generally what I run on most of our tracks. Occasionally go up to a 9, but very rarely. We're also going to need to put the 8-tooth motor plates on. Rear one just pops on nicely like that. Make sure it's pushed fully on. And likewise with the front. Front goes with the text the correct way up. That little notch at the top. Again, make sure it's pushed nice and solidly on. You're going to need to make sure it's nice and lined up. The old MR-03 had a little bit which squared them up, but this car doesn't, and then it's just a matter of dropping it in, which sometimes goes to plan and sometimes doesn't. There you go, that time it drops straight in. I'm going to pop the motor plate back on and move on to the next thing. Okay, so for T-plate, very simple job. I won't even probably bore you with it. I'll fast forward through it, but we're going to remove the stock plastic one and replace it with the carbon.
I'm going to start with exactly the same as what I had on my MR-03, which is a set from TT55 Racing. I've been using them for quite a while.
So you notice when I am putting screws back into plastic, I always try to back them off until you hear the little click, and then that's when you know that the screw has lined up with the thread that was in there beforehand. T-plate on, all good. So now let's just move on to the diff and just take a quick look through the diff and just double check that there's no issues with it, and probably get a little bit of grease in there. Diff disassembly, we've just got a little E-clip on here. All we're going to do is find something nice and sharp and pointy and strong, may I add, and just get our tool in there and just prise off the E-clip, and it should just pop off. Make sure you keep your finger on it so it doesn't go flying across the rim, and we can take a look at our diff now. It's the same 3-gear diff as always. They come completely dry. We will give it a quick dust down, just making sure that there's no muck in there, and then give it a drop of grease to help with performance. And now all I'm going to do is apply a very small amount of this. It's a Kyosho branded diff grease. 1000 is what works for where I am, temperature wise. Obviously if you're somewhere warmer you might need to use something slightly thicker. It's generally fairly low temperatures where we are, so I go with this. We're going to use a very tiny amount on here. We are literally just providing a smear over the surface of the gears, a little bit on the sun gears, and a tiny drip on each of the planets. So diff is now assembled and all good to go. We're going to give it a quick spin just to help distribute the grease in there, but we'll make sure we do that just before we hit the track anyway. Okay, next up is the rear shock. Now there's not a huge amount that we need to do to this, just obviously check that it's all running nice and freely. You can do that with or without the spring on there. And then really the only other thing to do is to grease it up. Again, I use the Kyosho diff greases. These I've found to be really good, really sticky, and don't tend to come off, and they last for quite a while. We're going to use 15,000 for this to get a nice amount of damping going on. Not huge amounts again, tiny bit on the shaft there, and then hopefully that will work its way up. There is no form of seals or anything on this, so it is really just a bit of grease just to give a bit of friction, and then I also just pop a tiny bit down in where the sort of piston type screw is to give it a bit of damping. So that pretty much finishes up the rear of the car. Join us in the next video when we'll take a look at the front half, get the transponder installed and fit the new body. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, all that jazz, and I will see you in the next one.